why is this important? And it's important because everything that I do is from a mindset perspective. Okay, so how you think about things are what allow you to really give your mind good instructions. So, for instance, your mind is the single biggest tool that you have to create momentum in your life, whether it's in your career or any other area of your life. I mean, if you want to figure out what's next, your mind will work like a dog to bring it to you. But you got to tell it what to look for. And so everything that I give to you, everything that I share with you is going to be from a mindset perspective, just to really help you sink your teeth into it in a different way. So your mind needs good instructions. So think about it. As you're listening to this Facebook Live, I mean, you're probably sitting in a chair, maybe you're sitting outside, but you're not thinking about what's running your body. You know, I mean, your heart is beating and you don't have to consciously think of your heart to beat. Take a beat, another beat. You know, your eyes are blinking. You're breathing and you don't have to consciously think about any of that. It runs in the background, okay? So your mind runs your body and it has the ability to sort information and look for things that you want to achieve, things that you want to attract, things that you want to get, as long as you give it instructions. So here's how it works, is that we receive data through our five senses. So what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we smell, what we taste, okay? But there is so much sensory data coming at us at any one given second, we just can't process it all. So here's an example. Think of how the chair that you're sitting in feels. Is it comfortable? Is it not so comfortable? You weren't thinking about the chair and how it felt before I brought it into your awareness, until I brought it to your attention. So your mind refocused and thought, okay, chair, how does it feel? So it has this wicked fast response time that it can recalibrate and it can focus on what it is that you want and look for opportunities and look for options. And so that is why your mindset is important, and it's important to give it good instructions. So another example. Maybe you watch TV and as you're clicking through the channels, you land on a commercial. You land on a commercial and it's a car commercial. And you look at that car and you think, wow, that is really a nice car. That's really a sharp car. And you know what? I would look good in that car. I would look good driving in that car. But then the commercial ends and you forget about the car, right? But you know, a couple of days later, you're headed to the store, mask in hand, okay? But you see that car, same color, same model, and you think, wow, you know, that really is a sharp car. You're driving back home, you see it in the teller line at your local bank, all right? You pull in your driveway, it's at your neighbor's house, 2 doors down. It's like all of a sudden that car is everywhere. And it is because you put it there. You put it there because when you saw that commercial and you stopped and you paid attention to that commercial, and you had a feeling about that car in the commercial, just how great it would be to have one or how good you would look driving one, whatever the case may be, you planted a seed in your mind and you said, this is what I want to find. So that is why we give our mind very clear instructions, especially when it comes to whatever is next in our career or in our business. Now that may be a next level. Hey, I want to ramp things up. I want to get to the next level. I want a promotion. I want to operate at a higher level. I want to have more visibility and credibility within a company. Or maybe it's, I've got a business and I want to shift. I want to attract more clients. I want to get in front of the right customers. So elevating or advancing to another level could be the, you know, the next level, whatever's for you. But it also could be a next chapter. How I define that is, okay, done with where I'm at and I'm going to pivot. I want to figure out what's next for me. And especially in this time, you know, we've had a lot of time to process things and experience. Hey, Saraya, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And you too, Mindy. Happy to have you here. We've had a lot of time to think about what's really important to us. You know, I usually am in Florida. I left Florida early. I came back to Pennsylvania. It was important that I be with my family. My son and his wife are expecting their first child in about 3.5 weeks. I can't wait. But it was important. So all of this that we're going through, it's causing us to think about things differently. Is it truly important to me? Is what I truly value being met? Am I doing what I want to do in my career or my business? Am I satisfied, or am I sacrificing just to have that security? And so these are questions that are popping into our brains. And so it may be a next chapter. I want to figure out what's next. I want to do something that resonates with me. I don't want to trade my life for a paycheck. So having that clarity of direction allows you to move confidently in a direction. It allows you to know what steps that you need to take. It gives focus for your mind, and it expands your opportunities. And so that's why this is so important. When it comes to your mind, there's an important point I want to bring to you, and there's two pieces of it. Your conscious mind, what you think consciously, what's on your mind, what what you're thinking about, is the goal setter. Your conscious mind says, this is what I want, this is the goal, this is what I want to achieve. Your unconscious mind, which is 95% of your thoughts, is the goal getter. So that is what is on the lookout. That is what is finding opportunities for you, is bringing you different perspectives, is putting you in the path of different people that might be able to help you advance or to pivot. So knowing the direction is important, because then conscious mind, goal setter, gives your unconscious mind, goal getter, the right instructions. So this is how I know this, is because when I was in my corporate career, I got to the point where I had this feeling that there was something next for me. Like I had achieved all I was going to at this particular level, and there was something else. I felt it, like kinesthetically felt it, but I didn't know what it meant, and I didn't know how to figure it out. And one of the phrases I'm fond of is lemony snicket series of unfortunate events. I mean, that is just what became my career. The more I tried to figure it out, the more I failed. The more I thought I had to be perfect in every single area of my life, the more miserable I became, to the point where I started having heart palpitations, and I started having numbness in my left hand. I mean, I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't get a full breath because my chest was so constricted. I mean, I was the very definition of just one mad, miserable woman. And I couldn't figure out how to get out of it, to the point where I just didn't feel like myself anymore. It was like I was living in a jar, and it was a jar that had a lid, so I could see outside of the jar, but I couldn't access it. I couldn't connect to it. I just felt disconnected from everything. So oh yes, and I'll tell you, Soraya, that is such a hard place to be. And I'll tell you what, kudos to you for just being here, because it's turning a corner, and I feel for you. And I'll tell you what, I stayed that way for probably a couple of years. And because I didn't know what to do, I ended up getting all sorts of tests. And when the doctor came back, you could have knocked me over with a feather, because he said it was stress, and that the stress was impacting my body physically. And I thought, you've got to be kidding, because then that was one more thing that was my fault. But here's what happened, is that it was a couple of years later, I went to a training. And what happened in that training is that I figured out that I was the one who was the most in my way. That was what was really stopping me from getting ahead. Wasn't these outside forces, these, this confusion and other people and other situations. It was me. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. So, I mean, you can't hit a bullseye without a target, right? So I didn't have that direction. And here's what I did have. I had a boatload of limiting beliefs about myself. Just thoughts on I can't do that. That's not for me. I would never be able to do that. Oh, that's for someone else. I couldn't achieve that. I could never be a manager. I could, all of these limiting beliefs. I mean, and whenever you hear yourself saying, yes, I can't, I won't, I'm not able, you have momentum and then you stop. It's like you throw on the brakes and you just say, but I can't go there. I'll tell you what, those limiting beliefs are a lie. And as long as you believe them and as long as you put energy into them, then they define you. And you are so much more than that. So in that training, I figured out I was the one who was in the most way. And I'll tell you would think that would be a burden. It was the opposite. It was a relief because I thought, okay, I have far more influence. I now have tools to be able to do something about this. I have far more influence over me, over my results. I want to say it was like a switch had been flipped. And I went from, this is my life. These are the cards that I've been dealt. This is the way I have to live. This must be the way that it's going to be. And it switched to, all right, this is where I'm at now. But if I can figure out where I want to go, where there's a will, there's a way. I have everything that I need, and so do you, inside to be able to achieve whatever I want, whatever you want. Okay? It is not a matter of adding to who you are. It is a matter of uncovering who you are and what is holding you back. And I'll tell you what, when I reached that epiphany, it was such a profound relief. And then I had another, and that was, I'm not the only one. If I can think differently, have different outcomes, make different choices, achieve what I want as a result, then other people can do it too if they choose. And so that was the impetus for me to start my business. And that's the whole reason that I do this, because that started a 3-year journey for me of studying everything that I could about the mind, about the power of thoughts, about psychology, NLP, Huna, spiritual practices, everything that I could that gave me my power back to be able to shift what it is that I do. So then it became my mission to pay it forward because I know that other people can do it too. So let's get into what we're talking about today. So when it comes to you figuring out what is next in your career, there are a number of ways that you can do that. And I want to share the how with you. But essentially what happens is that you get curious. When you are curious, you automatically point your mind in a different direction. And you say, you're giving instruction. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so when you get curious, you've automatically become unstuck and you're reorienting yourself in a different direction. Another way that this happens is that, you getting curious, but also brainstorming with others, being open to what shows up. Because again, once you have decided, this is what I'm looking for, this is the direction that I'm going in, I am not willing to be stuck anymore, I'm going to move. Then things will show up because you gave that instruction to your mind. And I'm going to give you more so that you can give it more specific instruction about what may be next and how you can go about doing that. So you've opened the box, right? So things that you hadn't noticed before, you start to notice. People that are can be helpful for you to advance to the next level or to figure out your next chapter, start showing up. It's like the floodgates have opened. Once you open that box, it allows different opportunities, and more opportunities are better because then at least you can prioritize them. Having no opportunities is when we feel stuck and we feel frustrated. So you start paying attention to the cues that you're getting and the clues that show up. So here is how you do that. What I want you to do is I want you to start paying attention to a number of things. So you can make a list. The first is force and flow. With whatever it is you're doing now for your career, or careers that you've had in the past. What are things that it felt like you were forcing it or you were being forced? It wasn't something you enjoyed. It was just, and you had to get through it. You might have procrastinated about it. It just didn't feel good. You didn't enjoy doing it. Paying attention to what they were is important. It's a breadcrumb, okay? And then conversely, what did flow feel like? What were the things that you either do now in your career or you did in the past in your career where it was just magic? It was flow. You could do it forever. No thought involved. You were just in the zone. Things were happening. Your little toes were tapping. You were just really in a good place. So paying attention and starting to remember what those were. I want you to write these down and keep track of them. Get a journal and put it in there. What are the things that felt heavy? And conversely, what were the things that made you feel lighter? So paying attention to those, writing those down, that gives you an indicator of what could be next. So that's one way that you can do it. Force and flow, what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, what felt great, what felt burdensome, okay? Another way that you can figure out what may be next for you in your career is an informal 360-degree feedback. So if you've not been through it before, a 360-degree, a formal process is an assessment that you fill out that is sent to your colleagues that they fill out and are sent to other people that are more at a distance, maybe customers or clients. And what it does is it's a 360-degree feedback on you to help you improve, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that process and we're gonna do an informal 360-degree feedback. So what I want you to do is, and again, you're gonna write this down, I want you to assess yourself. What are the things that you're good at? What are the things that you enjoy? What are the things that you think you might be good at? You know, what are the things that you're curious about? I want you to create a list. Then I want you to go to the people that are closest to you, your family, your friends, and give them the same question. Okay, good. So then you already know the process, but now I want you to do this informally, Soraya, and go to friends and family. And say, hey, you know me, you know how I operate. Give me your feedback. What are some things that I'm really great at doing? What are some things that I'm not so great at doing? Because oftentimes what we think about ourselves and what other people think about us, there can be a little bit of a disconnect there. You know what I mean? So what is it that you think that I'm really good at? You know, what's my superpower? What are the things I'm not so good at? And what are the things that you think I might be good at? Okay, do that with your family. And then we're going to go another step out in the circle. And I want you to go to your colleagues or social acquaintances, somebody who might know you well enough to do this, but not know you too well. Okay, so again, we're getting different perspectives. That is going to give you really great information about what may be next for you. And I'll tell you what, in my corporate career, there was a company that I was working for that had been acquired by the other company. So I was at the headquarters. The headquarters was moving out of town. It was going to Texas with the new company. I couldn't move to Texas. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to figure out what's next. And so here's what I did. I started with one person that I knew that I admired. And I said, hey, can I take you to lunch? Can I buy you coffee? Of course, we can't really do that right now. However, you could connect via Zoom or Facebook Live or just even a phone call, FaceTime, whatever the case may be. And here's what you do. I'm thinking of making a change, as long as it's safe to have that conversation with that person. I'm looking to advance to the next level. I'm looking to make a career pivot and get to my next chapter. Would really love your advice about what you might think is a fit for me. Can we have a conversation? Now, here's the key. You are not asking them for a job. So there's not a burden. And people love to be helpful. They love to share their advice. They love to talk and help other people out. So you're just asking for their advice. And when the time, maybe you send them a gift card to Starbucks or to, something online, to something that they enjoy. But you're looking for their feedback. What do you think would be something that might be a fit for me? Here are the things that I enjoy. Here are the results of my assessment, or whatever the case may be. And they can give you their input. They may know of something, but at the very least, at the end, they may have to think about it. At the end, you're going to ask them, very important, who else do you think I should speak to that might be willing to share their advice and guidance with me? This allows you to build your network, okay? And it allows you to get input from other people, okay? Always ask for their address and send them a handwritten thank you note, okay? As long as you feel it's appropriate to do that. Maybe these days you'd rather send an email because that's more appropriate considering where we're at. But at the very least, thank them for their time. Now, this allows you to, one, build your network. It allows you to, two, get advice from other people about what you may be good at. And number three, the more people you have this conversation with, the more people who are aware of you, what you want to do, and that you're looking for an opportunity. Because you just never know when somebody is talking to somebody else and, hey, I connected with this person and I know we were talking about this and I think they might be a good candidate for this job or this position or, this contract, whatever the case may be, if you've got a career or a business. And that is how it happens. So the more ambassadors you have out there looking out for you and what it is that is next for you. So that's another way that you do it. You can also do regular assessments. So maybe it is a Myers-Briggs assessment. Maybe it is a Clifton Strengths or the formerly Strengths Finder assessment that will give you more insight about you and a direction that you could go. What I would suggest if you do go that route is work with someone who is certified in helping you to understand the results. So assessments are a number of ways that you can do this too. So paying attention, force or flow, what you currently enjoy in your work or in past work, what lifts you up, what weighs you down, informal 360-degree feedback, your network, and assessments are all ways that you can get clarity on what may be next for you. Of course, there's also career coaches like me that can help walk you through a process to help you get more clarity. And ideally, this happens before you need to make a change. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. So even after this has ended, if I see them, then I can get back to you with any questions that you may have. And I'll tell you what, if you want to walk through this personally, customized for you, let's hop on a strategy call and figure out where are you at, where do you want to go, and what is the most in the way of you getting there. So I am Debbie Peterson, Getting to Clarity. I hope that you have a really terrific day and holiday weekend coming up. And until next time and next week, we'll have another topic next week. So if you've got input on that, I'd love to hear it because I want to bring you what you want to help you advance in your career. So until the next